The morning after. The morning after. You know, the morning after a night out is always rough. The hangover, the headache, the migraine. That's what we're going through right now as a fan base. That's what every Man United fan should be feeling this morning. I can't even show my eyes right now. I was struggling to sleep. I had to watch everybody's reactions too to see if they were just as angry as me. And the ones where I saw that they weren't angry, I was like, hey, why are you not as angry as I am? Like what Kano said to Bashi. Why are you not as angry as me? You know what I'm saying? This stuff is unacceptable. And the reality of the situation is dawning on us, you know? I haven't done a video since... obviously, I did a reaction video, but I haven't done a video in regards to what AMORIM said after the game. We're gonna talk about that. And guys, I know the Champions League draw is today, but it doesn't bother us. As a Man United fan, it doesn't bother us. Why are we watching the Champions League draw? Let's face front. Let's focus on what's important, and that's the future of this football club. And right now, this football club is in disarray. I woke up this morning to Charlie Austin with a skinhead say we need Sean Dyche at Manchester United. Sean Dyche. Now listen, I'm a big fan of Sean Dyche. I love Sean Dyche. But when you start getting to the point where they're saying bring in Sean Dyche at the football club, you know you're in trouble. Sean Dyche is the new, bring in a Big Sam to fix things. That he's the modern day one. Bring in the Sean Dyche to fix things, to bring the stability. Now, I think Sean Dyche should do a better job than Ruben Amorim. Let me tell you that for free. But that means we're in a bad place. And now when I look at what Ruben Amorim said after the game, I mean, some of his quotes after the game, for me, he's flirted with this before. And I've said this before that I think Ruben Amorim is far too emotional. Far too emotional to be a Man United manager in terms of dealing with adversity. I think he speaks too much. And one of the things that I really liked about him was that he speaks, you know, he talks, he wants to be clear with things. But I think now it's gone a bit too far. I think he speaks a bit too much. He lets his feelings a bit too known. And after the game, which is why when Garnacho said his comments about him not starting and how it's been a rubbish season, I said, give the boy some grace. Because he's 20 years old, upset that he didn't make it. He didn't start in the cup final, came on and was our brightest player. I understand it. Give him some grace because he's 20 years old. Because Ruben Amorim himself as a manager who didn't tolerate that, he's come out and said mad things more times than anybody since he's been here. He's punched the wall. He cut his finger. He said loads of things and had to apologize. He's apologized in the media about 3 times. And now today, or yesterday, he basically accuses the players of throwing him under the bus relatively. Kind of like what Jose said after the Leicester game. Take off these shades, man. Kind of like what Jose said after the Leicester game. Jose Mourinho basically, if you guys remember, after the Leicester game, Jose Mourinho basically kind of accused his players of throwing him under the bus. That was the last time we saw Jose as a manager of Chelsea Football Club. That was the last time we saw it. And when I look at the comments that Ruben Amorim said, right, of the players spoke for me very loudly. Very loudly. They said, what do you mean? He said, I think you know what I'm talking about. He said it 3 times. The players spoke today for me very loudly. For me, that means he's saying the players spoke about where they see him. They acted on how they see him and they don't want to run for him. They don't want to work for him. That's throwing the players under the bus. No, that's saying the players are throwing you under the bus. And if the relationship gets to that point, for me, it's a slippery slope and the end is nigh. The end is coming. The end is coming. And rightfully so. I'm not like everybody else that thinks what he's... Not everybody else. Let me be fair. I'm not like those fans that think this is acceptable. Ruben Amorim's record against English teams, games played 35, wins 8, draws 10, losses 17. He has a win rate of 22.9%, people. 22.9%. in 35 games against English opponents. That isn't good enough, bro. That isn't good enough. And this hasn't been there hasn't been a run of form, guys. Manchester United have not had a run of form since November. Not a run of form. Not back-to-back wins, 3 wins in a row, 2 great performances back-to-back. We haven't had 2 weeks of optimism at this football club since he has taken over. Not had 2 weeks of optimism. So we got to be realistic here. We got to be realistic with what we're talking about, right? And for you to say that basically the player's done that to you, for me, that's damning. Because the reason why that's damning for me is because you guys got to think about just his comments before the Fulham game. He said, we're sprinting more. I see positivity. Even Casemiro is running. He was talking like everything was rosy. Everything is going to move in a good direction. I saw us run more against Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. So how do you go from you see us sprinting more to basically the players have thrown you under the bus in a week's moment? That means the players don't believe in you. And I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, well, the players are always throwing people under the bus, blah, 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 blah. But how do you then explain Mbeumo not looking good enough, Cunha looking like he's been drank the poison, Sesko looking like he's got low confidence already? Obviously, the weight of the badge is heavy. I know that. But you have to optimize and maximize the players that you have on a pitch. And for me, my big thing is, and I'm the same way, I did it with Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea. I did it with loads of people. Loads. How many players has Ruben Amorim's system maximized and improved? How many players have been at Manchester United and improved? And the thing is, a lot of people say it's the same players. He's the one that's saying that Luke Shaw is world class when he's fit. He's the one that loves Bruno Fernandes. He's the one that's saying Casemiro has improved loads, and he actually apologized for his treatment to Casemiro early on. He's the one. He's the one. The reports came out that he doesn't even see keeper as a priority position. Now, absolutely it is. I won't say that's his fault in terms of Onana. Onana, I've said my piece on him. Bayinda, said my piece. Tom Heaton. By the way, Tom Heaton, listen, I love you, mate. You're a nice lad. But are you a freeloader? Because why are you not a part of the rotation? We're in a crisis here with goalkeepers. Are you here just to freeload? Because, bro, I can do your job. Hire me for £35,000 a week. I can do your job. Yeah, yo, who wants a drink today, yo? Don't worry, lads. We go again next week. If that's your role, sign me up. Because at this point, I'm starting to think Tom Heaton should be our goalkeeper. But overall, when I'm looking at the discourse around things, and I'm looking at how Amorim was sitting on the bench, I think everybody's been a bit harsh with the tactic board thing, whatever. But how he was sitting on the bench, you know, looking defeated, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a player and I'm in a penalty shootout, we're in a huddle, I look and I can't even see my manager, then that's a concern for me. Like the where he was as well. Not even like he's on the floor like this, because I know Klopp used to stand there and not face the penalties, whatever. Nerves, I get it. But to be completely away and just be like this, completely away, fiddling your fingers, for me, that's scary. That's not something that will fill anybody with confidence. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think Manchester United are going to build any momentum with Ruben Amorim. And this is the aftermath. How's everybody feeling? This is more for people to drop their comments in. How are you guys feeling about this? But for me, I'm waking up this morning and I'm shocked that we haven't acted. I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked that we haven't acted. I don't see what we're waiting for. I just really don't see what we're waiting for. And I have to drum this home. You know, I don't like to see people sacked or anything like that. But at the end of the day, the job's not getting done. The job's not getting done. And a lot of people, you know, they want to talk about similarities. I'm not going to talk about the Fergie thing again. That's the last time I'm going to speak about the Fergie thing. Because for me, it's ridiculous to talk about. You're talking about something that happened 40 years ago. 40 years ago. And you know what? I think, I saw this tweet and I think it was an amazing tweet. I don't know if I liked. I think I might have pressed the like. Yes, I did press the like. So let me show you guys this tweet. So this tweet is from only one C, right? Or only C. It says United are still shit 12 years later because of their weird need to mythicize everything instead of taking things at face value. Your manager is shit, so sack him. And if the next guy is shit, sack him. This ain't Disney. Listen, guys, I fully agree with this comment. I think as Manchester United fans, we always mythicize things. We always think everything's a fairy tale. We always think, because maybe is it because of the comebacks? Is it because, we've got heritage? Is it because of Sir Alex Ferguson? Is it, guys, you have to keep going. We mythicize things too much. We think everything's a Disney story. We think everything is going to end in a fairy tale. The reality is you have to handle business and handle business quickly. And a lot of people are saying, you're just doing the same thing. Reality is we're not. Manchester United always give managers 2 years, 3 years, and then they assemble their squad and then they get sacked and then we have to build again. We don't sack early enough. That's the reality with Man United. We don't sack early enough. This will be the quickest sacking, I think, or David Moyes, but I think this will be the quickest sacking in terms of, no, actually it wouldn't be. This would be second to David Moyes. But as I said, Nuno sacked quickly. Potter sacked quickly. I remember Solari at Real Madrid sacked quickly. Kovac at Bayern Munich sacked quickly. You don't wait around. You don't wait around. You get rid and you keep going. Guys, Man United have signed a lot of players that are flopped. Should we stop signing players now because these players are flopped? No, you go again. You sign the next player. Should Man United not sign the next best young talent in the world because this young talent failed? No, you still go and sign that young talent. Should Man United not sign a world-class player because this world-class player might not have failed? No, you keep going. The reality is you keep going, and that's what football clubs do. You keep going. Man United have only had two. By the way, it's so funny because Man United have only had two good managers in the history of our football club. By the way, we've only had two good managers. We gotta be on the search for the next one. Sir Matt Busby, Sir Alex Ferguson. The rest, it's been dribs and drabs. You gotta go and find the next one. And I think maybe because of Sir Matt, maybe because of Ferguson, we've been a football club that have had two managers for such a long period of time. Both of them managing decades. I think we've had this obsession with longevity of a manager. They don't have to have longevity as a manager. The same thing as I always say when people say, we signed this player for the next 10 years. What do you mean? You signed a player for the next 10 years. You signed a player for the next year or two. And if he's good, he gets another year or two. And if he's good, he gets another year or two. You don't sign a player for the next 10 years. And whatever happens in that 10 years happens. I hate that phrase. You got a player, we signed a player for the next 10 years. There's no long term without short term results. And AMORIM has said this. And AMORIM has threatened to walk away twice now. If you're going to do it, do it. Some of his comments sounded like he wants to walk away. He said you can't get rid. There needs to be change that has to happen. But you can't get rid of 22 players. If you want to step down, AMORIM, just step down. In fact, I'll find it more honourable. I'll find it more honourable. Internationals break is coming. You're giving us a good opportunity to go and look. But as I said, guys, there's no long term without short term results. There's no manager that in the modern game really that without short term results they didn't have. They got long term. People talk about Arteta. There's some passage of play that you look at Arteta with some of the guys that he had in his squad. They were playing some good football. Yes, it got dire. He won the FA Cup, which gave him some credit in the bank. Obviously, as a former Arsenal captain as well, gave him credit in the bank. And also where Arsenal were in that time, there was COVID. There was lots of things going on that it would have been very difficult to replace Mikel Arteta. Like, the circumstances are a lot different to Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim has a better squad by far than what Arteta picked up as well, people. By far, right? So it's not comparable. It's not comparable in that regard. Arteta showed passages where Arsenal were improving. Showed that you can go and beat the big teams, can go and win the FA Cup. It wasn't all rosy, of course not. But it was not this bad, people. This is false equivalency. I hate the Klopp example. Klopp instantly put his style of play onto that football club. I remember they started getting injuries because of how much they had to work. He excited and they got to Europa League final. I know AMORIM got to the Europa League final, but they had exciting football. There was something to believe in. And the season later, they kicked on. They started kicking on. It was there. You could see Klopp's identity in that team. They would win games. We haven't won 2 games in a row. There's so much false equivalency when it comes to it. If you want to go back to all the way to Sir Alex Ferguson 40 years ago, a completely different time, picking up Manchester United after they hadn't won a title for 25 years, it's in a lot different situation. Could Manchester United at that point spend the type of money that we could spend now? No. I wasn't alive to see them moments, but I'm sure there would have been moments where you would have seen, okay, Ferguson can do something here. And even if not, it was a completely different time, people. We can't hang on to that. AMORIM is being given grace by Manchester United at the moment. Is being given grace by Ineos. And I think people in the football world can see that this ain't going to work out. And they'll tell you, hey, yo, you know, it's all the players, it's all the players, it's all the players. For me, sometimes it's excuses. It's excuses. Because, guys, if I sit there and talk to you about some of the players, do you rate Lenny Yoro? You'll say yes. I remember the other day when I didn't have De Ligt in my starting 11 of a combined 11. People were going crazy at me, United fans. So you rate De Ligt. You rate Lenny Yoro. You like Aiden Heaven. A lot of fans like of Bruno Fernandes. Sesko, Cunha, and Bruma. That's already 7 players that I said. Kobe Mainu, that's 8 players that people like. Ahmad, that's 9 players. Who else is there in the team? Dorgu's up and down with people, so I won't mention him. Casemiro's up and down with people. Ugarte's and stuff, cool. Lissandro, a lot of people like him. He hasn't been available, but that's another one. That's 10. That's 10 players that I've just named right there that a lot of fans will be happy to have. Who has he made better from that 10? So when people talk about squad, I've just said 10 players that people are happy to have in the football club. That's a lot. That's a lot. Look at Joshua Zirkzee. Then you got people like Zirkzee and Mounts, who I don't know where people sit on them players, but they can contribute. So people could turn around, right? I think the squad needs improvement, 100%. You know, it's not the perfect article, right? Finished article. But when there's this talk about, it's the squad, it's the squad, it's the same guys, it's the same guys, it's the same guys. Guys, this squad has turned over. This squad has turned over. There's been new signings. Since Ineos have come in, they've signed like 8 players. So this excuse of it's the same guys. Nah. And even if it's so, it's the same guys for Thomas Frank right now at Tottenham. It's the same guys when David Moyes took over at Everton. You've got to just make an impact. What Potter and AMORIM are doing is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, people. That's just the reality. But it is what it is, guys. I just want to know your comments. Let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Turn your notifications on. Road to 50k. We just hit 45k. Big up, people. Big up for the love. Let me know, man. This is all for open discussion. It's the aftermath of the game. It's the aftermath of the worst defeat I've seen in a long time. Most embarrassing defeat. 2-2. Go and check out my reaction if you want to see how I really felt after the game. But as I said, it's your boy, CultureCams. I'm out. Peace.